Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame commentary today by me, Vulcan. Today I am playing on 3 Mile Island, and it is a 4v4 game. Now you're probably wondering, why is he playing a 4v4? They lag like hell. Yeah, they do normally, but this one didn't, and it was a very good game. And it's interesting what the strategies that the people played in this game. I don't know any of the players in this game. They are completely random. It was a random setup. They may have known each other, I have no idea, but either way we each managed to communicate what we were going to do. So first of all, we decided that I was going to take Mike. This guy here, let's see what his name is, Lessers, was going to go on the left, and these two guys over here were going to push up the right. Now this worked out quite well in the end, and I'll show you how it goes throughout the game. So if I speed up my deployment, I will show you what I had in mind for my push into the middle of the map. You can see that the other team was communicating to each other with the markers that you can use. Obviously we can't see these when we were playing. So what I'm going to do for the majority of this game is keep it from my perspective and let you see what was going on. Now what you can see here is that I have 2 command vehicles. I was hoping that he would leave his one back here, which he did, and this particular Sultan down here would be going to November, and the Sultan moving up at the front would be heading to Mike. Now you can see I've got 2 looks recons. Well, I've actually got 4, but like in groups of 2, and they will be covering the bridge approaches over here and over here to basically show me what's coming as soon as possible. I've also got 4 Fuchs with Jaegers in to support them, and of course mortar carriers for the inevitable infantry combat that's going to take place in the middle island. I've also got zippers and Marder VTSIs, which are basically sort of anti-tank weapons but are good against APCs, and also the flamethrowers will be good for taking out those infantry that I was talking about. It was pretty inevitable that I would be bumping into infantry, so I basically focused on an infantry setup, as you can see by the vehicles I'm using. Vulcans are very good close anti-air, but they're also good for taking out infantry at close range, and obviously Marder Rolands for any air vehicles that would be heading my way. In the meantime, I've set up a looks at the front of November with 2 Marder Rolands covering this area for anti-air, and obviously my Sultans held up in the back of that. Now noticing that they've caught up very quickly, I make sure that my Sultan doesn't overextend, manage to get it back into cover as soon as possible. In the meantime, my Jaegers managed to get into a half decent firefight with some very elite troops. Now it's very interesting how this guy did it, because my Jaegers managed to take out his BTRs and Conkers, but you can see that he's already leveled them up to 4 chevrons of like elite, and this means that when I take them out with mortars and my Jaegers, is that I get a lot of points for him not doing very much to me. Now I guess he thought that having them having such veteran units would help him a lot, but it obviously didn't, and just gave us the advantage straight off the bat. And you can see that I get 470 points very early on from that. Now these AMLs did me very proud there. You can see that they vetted up a little bit, destroying a lot of the APCs. The good thing about AMLs is that they are, although they're close mortar support and they're very accurate, and you can see I start to use them again against this, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but them and the Scots that are there, while my Vulcans pin them down with their miniguns, and his VABs give them some heavy fire. Now, one thing that I didn't notice too well was that he'd managed to get a lot of infantry into the middle area here, and you can see that while my flame tanks are moving up and my Marder VTSIs to get these spados, I'll call them, they kind of fail and get taken out by a BMP and some other infantry that's there. Now, I'm really not sure what to do with the Sultan, so I move it into the very corner of Mike just so we can get some quick points, and use my Zippo to kind of scout out for any heavy infantry. But I kind of get a bit over eager and send my Sultan in very quickly, which it turns out to be a very bad idea, because you can see that the BMP actually manages to get some very accurate shots on it with its veterancy, which can be quite annoying. Now, the reason I was so surprised that he vetted his units is that it just seemed unnecessary, considering the if you're going to vet a unit, you put it to veterancy 3, because that means that when it kills something, it's going to get something out of it rather than already being max. Also, you don't necessarily want to vet APCs for the pure fact that they're not actually that effective against very many units. But you can see what happened here on the left. You might not have seen, but basically me moving up to November and pushing across this bridge up here forced the guy who pushed down from Juliet to stop in this area here, which meant that he didn't cover the left side very well, and this lesser guy manages to push all the way around up into his base, which is very undefended, and then pushes down behind him to finish off his troops, which completely pincers him. And because he can't move down to November, he can't escape very well and has to push across to India, which kind of gets revealed by my looks here, and he manages to chase them down with his very fast AMX 30Bs. Now, in another game I was saying how ineffective these tanks are, but if you're going to rush with them well, they can be very effective because of their autocannon support that they have actually on the tank. And when they get close to the APCs, they can do a lot of damage. Now, they're not very accurate on the move because they don't have stabilizers, but their autocannon at close range makes up for that very well. Now, on the right side, throughout the game, my teammates were calling out for help because they were being pushed back a lot. Because what I think the enemy did was that they focused on one side of the river, but that gave us an easy chance to push up onto the left and take our side of the river, which didn't give them much of an advantage, so I didn't think it was such a great idea at the time. Now, obviously without my Sultan here, we're not getting much from Mike, so we're just trying to keep this island secure from them capturing it at the moment, and you can see I'm bringing in another command vehicle there to make up for the one that I lost. Now, I know that these Spados are here, so I brought in a couple of Fuchs and Jaegers to take care of them while my AMLs position out of this area to take care of those. Now you can see how well Lasers has done on the scores. He's got 1,300 points while I've got 1,230 points by his pushing up on the left side. You can see that I use my Jaegers to reveal the locations of the Spados before aiming at them with the AMLs. And in the meantime, I've moved another Sultan into Oscar to pick up the 4 points here. And you'll see later that instead of moving this to Mike, I actually move it to Lima, because this guy over here, Von Volga, manages to pull up a command vehicle into Mike. You can see here that I finally finish off those Spados with the AMLs and then push them forwards again, back up into their positions. You can see that what I was saying about Vulcans being very light, these are Afghanistan skis. They have quad auto cannons, whereas my Vulcans only have miniguns, which miniguns are obviously very good against anti-air, and so are quad auto cannons, but quad auto cannons against Vulcans, well, quad auto cannons are going to win any time. And because of the Vulcans' low armor compared to an Afghanistan ski, which has Afghan ski, they do a lot better off. I think actually the Vulcan there is actually out of ammo as well, so it's kind of just baiting out where they are, giving me the information I need to make the right move. Now, knowing that this guy on the right is getting kind of owned, I start to bring in more reinforcements on the right now instead of on the left, because we've already secured the left side of the river. Meanwhile, with this Vulcan just sort of sitting there, not being able to do anything, I use these Jaegers that I had supporting these Marder VTSIs to take out the last of the Afghanskis, sorry. You see that in real life, that Afghansky would probably rip the shit out of Jaegers or any infantry, but thankfully in the world of a balanced RCS game, that is not the case. Otherwise, I would have been royally fucked right then. Now you can see this massive attack coming over here. I guess it's not incredibly massive for the pure fact that it's only ATGM jeeps and a few APCs and of course some AA, but against his Abrams and Bradleys, that's gonna hurt. So luckily this guy knows what to do and pulls back his Abrams and Bradley as soon as possible to make sure that they don't get taken out by the Conkers that are coming up. Now at this point, I've managed to sneak some Jaegers up to here, and you can see that they've actually managed to capture 4 supply vehicles, and it's coming very, very handy. You may have noticed that my AMLs are actually out of ammo, and what I do with these URALs is I move the mortars to the right side so that they can provide mortar support on the right side of the river, and then move the supply trucks over to refuel and resupply them. Now, in the case of security, I've brought in some chaparrals to just cover these sultans that are kind of left out in the open. If a stray helicopter had managed to come around the side, these would both be dead. Reasonably easy because there's only one chaparral covering the entire area at the moment. Obviously, there's these Marder Rollins up here, but even if a helicopter was behind, they'd be out of range. So I decide just in case to bring in some cheap chaparrals to just cover the air around that area. See here what I was talking about. This von Volga guy moves his M151A1 commander up into Mike, so I choose to move my Sultan over to Lima just so we capitalise on the most points possible. The only thing that I was a bit concerned about was because this command vehicle is not armoured, so any stray artillery fire would take that out very easily, and yeah, I wanted to basically tell him to get rid of it out of there and then move my armoured one back in. I don't get anything out of that, it's just that it would have been a lot safer with this like straight arty firing coming in, which could have hit the car at any time. You can see I actually didn't notice that I had these URLs before I actually spotted enemies nearby them and wondered what the hell I had there. You can see that I used moved my Jaegers into cover so that they don't get picked off very easily. But they get spotted nonetheless, it seems, and I'm taken out very easily by T-72Bs, which are basically like sort of T-80s in that they have a very good ATGM and gun, but I think they lack armour in comparison, yeah. So anyway, it seems like the team's just kind of regrouping at the moment. You can see that just to help the guy on the right, I've decided to bring in an Apache to take care of this T-80B. I noticed that an Afghansky is not going to be in range enough to take care of my Apache, and it does get destroyed by ATGM anyway. But my Apache after firing 480 gems, a very large amount, just to miss one and actually hit a URI before actually taking out the TATB itself, which actually uses up 6 of the 8 missiles, and you can see that another, or the first of the enemy team surrenders. We've already lost one guy on our team who kind of left at the start anyway. And you can see that I used the last 2 80 gems to take out a Tunguska, which would have been a threat to my Apache. Would it have got a shot off? And you're probably wondering what my books are doing here, but they only cost like 5 each, so I 5 or 10 each, I think it's 10. Move into Bravo just to see what's there. Kind of gives this guy the heads up, and he moves his tanks up towards Bravo. Now here you can see that I've now covered the bridges really, and the URALs are waiting here for my AMLs to arrive, so I can provide that mortar support I was talking about earlier. Also, in the again in the matter of safety, this Lacerce guy moved a command vehicle into hotel, but he left it undefended, so I brought in a couple of chaparrals just to keep that covered from the air. Now a lot of people feel that's unnecessary because it's behind enemy lines, but yeah, I think you have to always be very careful because you really don't want to lose 200 points. Now in this case it didn't really matter, because what I forgot to tell you was that this is total annihilation, which means that you only win if you destroy all of the enemy's like equipment, but that basically means that you have to destroy every command vehicle that they own. So we have 60 minutes to do that, and I was expecting a very long battle because most 4v4s last forever, especially when they do total annihilation with no when you do total annihilation with no time limit. Now you can see here, you're probably wondering what I'm doing, sending Apaches against books, but basically these books are fully upgraded. That means they're worth more than my Apaches, and my Apaches get the first shot off, and you can see they actually get 170 points for taking out one Apache, or one Apache. I get 170 points for taking out one book, while he takes out one of my Apaches. Now I lose 160 points, but overall he loses 340 points from my 2 Apaches shooting his books. And also that means that my other teammates have free airspace to do whatever they like around the area now, because that was their main anti-air in the area. Now you're probably saying it probably wasn't worth wasting an Apache, but again, as I said, I basically doubled the amount of points that Apache is worth by taking out both of the Apaches there. As long as I don't... Oh, taken out of the book, sorry. But this Apache, if it died, wouldn't have been worth it. And basically for the rest of the game now, I just keep up defenses on this island and use air support, and you can see that when I lost that Apache I basically bring in another, and continuously use this Gazelle recon here to make sure I'm not flying into anything that I don't want to be, like more books or cubs. See that continuously I'm using my AMLs to support the my teammates who are moving up on the left and right. This guy is pushing up to Alpha, while Lacerce is moving up to Bravo. If we just check the whole situation now though, you can see that they're very much on the back foot now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 control points. They have 3. So we're going to get a lot of supply reinforcement points now, and they're going to get barely any, which means we can basically overrun them. And considering that there's no points limit, it doesn't matter if we lose units so much. So basically we can kind of sacrifice units, so to speak, but you don't really want to do that, but you can do because it's total annihilation. And just because these AMLs didn't really have much to fire at, I make them fire at these supply trucks, which one of them manages to get away. They were originally resupplying the book anti-air before I destroyed them with the Apaches. You can see that with this Gazelle I managed to spot these T-72Bs and bring in the Apaches to go and take that out. But while I'm flying over, I managed to take out a Conquer's team as well for this guy over here, who is using tanks throughout the battle. Considering that was a fully upgraded Conquer's team as well, it would have hurt a lot if those missiles were fired. And these T-72s are worth a lot now because they're basically about 150 points each, I think. And while this Apache is firing at these T-72Bs here, this Apache manages to take out the UAZ and Echo, which the Gazelle spots, and I get 200 points for that and 150 for taking out a T-72B with 1 veterancy. And also, in the matter of safety, I managed to pick off a Strela, which is an anti-air vehicle, which was fully upgraded.